In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a local backup. This is a new feature in ACM 5.12.2. So to do that, I'm already logged in ACM. You want to go into Appliance, make sure that you have that version running in your system. So go to the About screen. Make sure that you have at least 5.12.2 or above. And then go here to Backup. I already have two backups, and those are backing up to a Windows share on a network. So this requires more configuration and help from your end user IT team to give you the proper location on their network with the right username and password. If you're trying to do a backup, this is initial install, and you want to do a quick backup just to make sure that you have a copy of the configuration of your system, or even the transactions of your system. There is a easier way of doing that. So you click here in Add Appliance Backup. Enter a name. So let's call this Initial Configuration. And under Backup Type, I'm going to go ahead and select Local Backup. This is the backup that I would use for to store on the network. Safer, better. This is the option that you actually want to use. The local backup, as the name shows, it's creating a backup on the same hard drive as the ACM application is running. It is important that once you create a backup, you copy that out of that hard drive, just in case if the hard drive has a failure, dies, now you just lost your system and your backup. So you want to make sure that this is just your initial install. You want to get a copy out of that system. So an easy, simple way of doing that before you can get a hold of your, the end user network administrator to go and create a Windows share backup. You want to go here, local drive, select that. You can do a configuration for a backup type for configuration or transaction. I suggest you create one for each. So just click configure. You could select this the days of the week and schedule this to run a certain time. Just be aware that local backup only stores the last backup. So if you select here every day, when you move to the next day, the previous backup is deleted. So it's not a very good idea to rely on local backup as your main source of backup. Okay, so again, you want to configure a Windows share with schedule as your main backup. But for the time being, if I just want to make sure that I have a quick backup of everything that I just configured, I can go ahead and click this local backup. I'm going to select configure, hit save. Now I have a new line item in here. Here is my initial configuration. I can click over here, clicking backup now. So this will go create a backup. It's going to give you a message saying the backup was configured. And now I can click in this file list right here. And here is my backup. And now I can just go click here and download that file to my computer. Notice that the file is not too big. Same would be for transactions. So I can go create another backup. This one I'm going to call transactions. Once again, I'm going to select local backup. Here I'm going to select transactions. And I'm going to hit save. I can encrypt the file if I want to. Just for the purpose of simplicity, I won't encrypt. I'll just keep it simple. Here's my transactions backup. Now I can go and click backup. And this is going to go and create a backup. This file is slightly bigger in my system. I have a lot of transactions going on in here. So this might take some time. If you're doing an initial backup, this will obviously be much simpler. You don't have all that many transactions going on in the system. Most likely you're just relying on the configuration itself. You just want to make a copy of that configuration so you can just go ahead and use that initial configuration and copy and download out of the server. Okay, so here's my transaction. I actually paused the video to allow the system to run this backup, my transaction backup, just because I have a lot of data in there. And backup is complete. And here's the download file, is about, in my case, about 400 megs. So you want to be careful with that too. So if you have, usually for initial backups, you won't have that a whole lot of transactions going on. You'll probably rely more on the configuration, right? So configuration is where you store all your card holders, all your controllers, and all the configuration that you do throughout the system is all under the data type configuration. And transactions are all the events that are happening in the system, badge reads, alarms, any related event happening in the system will be stored in the transactions database. Once again, for initial configuration, you most likely want to rely into the data type configuration. You want to have that backup, have the backup to local drive, and then you can download that. Don't forget to download that out of the ACM hard drive to your local computer until, again, you can have a better storage using a shared folder. Okay, that's it for now.